Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. I want to thank you for being with us tonight. The jailhouse bans tot mom from little Kaylee's funeral. Florida CSI back at the Anthony home seizing clothes and shoes. Why? All this while the defense demands a second autopsy.
I truly love that little girl and miss her so much.
Kaylee Marie Anthony's last moments may always be a mystery. Investigators believe her mother, Casey, is the only one who knows what horror she might have suffered. They believe Casey is the one who researched neck breaking and chloroform on her own computer as far back as 9 months ago, 3 months before Kaylee was killed. Orange County Medical Examiner Dr. Jan Garavaglia says there is no sign of trauma to Kaylee's bones. And as far as possible chloroform poisoning, the bones are clean of tissue, but even the hair that was found probably won't help answer that question.
It will be difficult to interpret levels from these specimens and thus will not be definitive in helping determine the cause of death.
But Dr. G says the totality of evidence tells her Kaylee was murdered, evidence that her mother did not report her missing for a month, evidence that Kaylee's mother partied during that month, made incriminating statements.
We're here because we got here how? To do what?
Because I lied, because I brought you up here. And honestly, I was reaching for...
But I'll stop right there. I want you to tell me how lying to us is going to help us find your daughter.
It's not going to.
And evidence uncovered just recently that Kaylee's body was wrapped in a trash bag and dumped into the woods less than a half-mile from Kaylee's home.
Just one day after the Anthonys learned of their granddaughter's death, authorities searched the family's house yet again. Investigators took clothing and shoes belonging to both Casey and Kaylee, among other items.
Straight out to Mark Williams, news director at WNDB News Talk 1150. Mark, CSI, Florida crime scene investigators back at the Anthony home. Why?
Well, they apparently found something, Nancy, at the crime scene during their 9-day search of that crime scene off of Suburban Drive in East Orlando, where they wanted to go back and check the house one more time. And they did about 5 minutes after the crime scene team left Suburban Drive and where the body of little Kaylee Anthony was dumped. And from what we understand, they took clothing, they took shoes, they even took toys belonging to Kaylee, and of course clothing and shoes belonging to Casey Anthony. They were taken to the sheriff's office and they will be used as part of the investigation, Nancy.
So you're telling me, Mark Williams, that about 5 minutes after they finished the scene, they head straight to the Anthonys and execute another search warrant?
3/10 of a mile away, Nancy. They didn't waste any time. They found something there. They aren't talking about that, but then they went back to the house, of course, and they even wrapped crime scene tape around the place, around the Anthony home, as they did just a couple of weeks ago, Nancy.
And to Natisha Lance, our producer, standing by there at the remains site. Is it true, Natisha, that even though police have now released the site, the defense still hasn't shown up to take a look?
That's correct, Nancy. The defense was contacted about 11:30 in the morning before the scene was released, and they said they will not be coming out here. There was no reason to come out because they felt as if the scene had nothing to offer them.
Wait. Did I just hear you say the defense said there's no reason to see the crime scene? Did I hear that? Or has my IFB completely fritzed out?
No, your IFB is working. They said no reason for them to come out here. They would not be responding, coming out to see the scene.
After all this time, they've been screaming that they can't see the scene gets released to them, and they don't show up.
That's correct, and still have not even been out here as of today.
We are taking your calls live. Let's quickly unleash the lawyers. Joining me tonight out of San Francisco, Daniel Horowitz. Also with me, Meg Strickler. Also with me, Daryl Cohen. I want to go first to you, Daniel Horowitz. Not go to the crime scene? Why?
Well, Nancy, you know, if you're invited to a party, then you show up. They were disinvited to the real examination of the evidence. Now the party's over, and the judge says, and the police say, go to the scene. It's over. It's too late. They wanted to be there when the body was there, when the evidence was there. They got cheated, Nancy.
Okay, you know, I disagree. Daryl Cohen, the defense itself has been complaining they can't get into the crime scene where little Kaylee's remains were found. Now the police have released the crime scene, and they're saying they don't need to see it. I mean, Daryl, you've been both a prosecutor for many, many years and now a defense attorney for many, many years. Most people don't get to go to the crime scene, defense attorneys, until time of the trial. This is an excellent opportunity for the defense. What's their problem?
I think, Nancy, what I mentioned the other night, they said they wanted to be there. They really did not want to be there. They asked to be there. They knew the judge would not allow it. They didn't want to go to the party because if they were not at the party, now they can complain that any problem at all, any mistake by the forensic people, they can try and jump on, because if they were there and they went there now, they couldn't have that, and they wouldn't have it.
You know what? Meg Strickler, he's right. Everybody, what this means is they asked to see the scene with the judge. The judge said no. Now they've got a chance, but now they're not going to go, so they can set it up on appeal that this is a reversible error, that they were not allowed on the scene while it was being processed. Meg Strickler, agree or disagree?
I totally agree with Mr. Cohen. They were properly filing the right motions, and now they have great appellate issues should this go to trial and they lose.
Straight back out to Natisha Lance, our producer, there at the scene. Natisha, not that I'm not sure that they would want to go, but have the Anthonys been to the scene?
No, they have not been to the scene, Nancy. The most of their outings that they've had so far, they went to church on Sunday evening, but they have not been out and about too much since then.
Natisha, what more can you tell me about this search that was executed on the Anthony home? My sources are telling me that Mr. Anthony was visibly upset. Now, before we go with that, how do we know that? Does someone actually see him?
Apparently they did see him in the doorway when he came to the door when the investigators came, saying we have another search warrant to search the house. And from what onlookers are saying is that he appeared to be visibly upset about the situation. And I guess they're dealing with it as best as they can. And once again, I did see George's car outside of the house today, him walking to the door. And he just looks tired, Nancy. He looks like he's been through it and he's trying to cope with it as best as he can.
There you see the video that Natisha Lance is describing. George and Cindy Anthony apparently both there. You also see that still in the doorways and in the windows, the family has up the posters, "Where is little Kelly? Have you seen me?" Mark Williams, what more can you tell me about the fact that the tot mom, according to the jail, will not be at a funeral or a memorial?
Boy, you hit that right on the head. Here's the deal with this, is that thus far, no funeral service for little Kaylee has been planned. A second autopsy was conducted. The remains will be given to a funeral home within the next day or so. And it's jail policy that the top mom will not be released. However, if somebody makes a request, that request could be honored.
Mark Williams is with us, everyone. When we come back, the ex-fiance of the tot mom is with us. This after the Anthony family appeared to accuse him.